Hello everyone, and welcome to a milestone in RC Retirement. This is episode 100, and thank you up front for helping me get to this milestone. If you're listening on the podcast, this is not episode 100, but on YouTube, this is. And this is the 100th official episode of the channel. There have been more than 100 episodes total, but as far as the numbered episodes, this is number 100 in the official tally. So thank you very much for staying with me all this time and helping me get to this triple-digit number. So I thank you for that. So I thought it would be a good idea to just do a simple episode of a quick history of the channel, how this all started, and tell a little bit about what's going on right now as well, in addition to making videos. So let me pull up some notes here, and then we can go through that. So as you've heard me say in the past, the whole concept for RC retirement, reserve component retirement, came about when I was at a conference for retirement services way back in 2013 or so. And I noticed that nothing was in simple English. I thought everything was understandable, but I realized that that was only because I was working in that field. So it made sense to me. But I realized that if you were Joe Snuffy, this stuff wouldn't make sense at all. So I started looking for something that was simple, something out there online that gave this same information in simple English. I thought it had to be there somewhere, and I was wrong. There was nothing out there that gave it in simple terms. There were some that were close, but nothing that gave specifically retirement information in layman's terms, in Joe terms. So I decided make it myself. And that was the origin of RC Retirement. Now, I tried to go a little too much in the beginning. I tried to do a daily podcast, much like some of the folks that I listen to myself, some of the daily podcasters that are out there who do incredible work and can put out that kind of content. I thought, well, I know a great deal about this topic. I can put out daily content on reserve component retirement services, retirement topics. And it killed me. It absolutely killed me. Trying to put out a well-researched, well-documented daily podcast in addition to everything else I was trying to do, it was murder. And I was only able to do it for about a month and a half, and I burned out. I pod faded, and that was it. I couldn't do it. So for about 5 years, the site just sat there with only occasional updates. Maybe an article that I copied and pasted, maybe a little thing here and there, but for the most part, not much going on with the website. So after that, what's going on in the real world? Well, I had started traveling about the state. I was working in the National Guard as a retirement services officer, and I was also traveling around the state giving presentations. And I had noticed that there was a significant training gap between what's in my head and what's in Joe's head. And of course, these traveling presentations were useful. I could see that. But the problem was I could also see in the future, kind of clairvoyantly, that my own medical retirement was coming. So I had to think of something. I knew that my own retirement was coming, and I had to plan for the future there. Also, I wanted to think of something that could spread the knowledge that was in my head out in a way that was more than just one company at a time. I mean, sure, I could go to one unit and talk to 100 people, 200 people, but that was just that one location. And, it didn't seem very efficient. I could do that 100 times in one state and not get everyone in that state. So I thought, what can I do? I've got to do something. And I've got a plan for my own future as well. So I really enjoy what I do. I want to keep doing this. So I looked to what I enjoyed. I also looked at what I enjoyed listening to. And that was, I enjoyed podcasts and I enjoyed YouTube videos. And there were people that I saw who were successful doing both of those. So I thought, why not try to spread my knowledge through YouTube and through podcasts? That would be a good way to get what's in my head out there to other people. And it would also be a way to establish myself as an expert in the field. And when it's time for me to leave the National Guard and establish myself as let's say an expert for hire, then I'm already known as someone who knows what he's doing. And when I start saying I can help you for a fee, then people would be a lot more willing to potentially, pay for that service. Even though a lot of people out there are doing it for nothing because they're government employees, they might be willing to talk to one guy who is outside of that fold because he might be able to do it a little bit better. Because now he's outside of that fold and he doesn't have to necessarily speak the party line also. Ha ha. So I started talking on YouTube long before I ever retired from the National Guard. That's why I took on the moniker DJ in the beginning, even though my true name was David Saunders. And when I did retire, I just continued with the name DJ. It was a lot more entertaining in a way. I was just used to it also. I thought, since I was still a member of the National Guard, it was best to keep some slight level of anonymity. But as soon as I retired, in fact, a week after I had officially retired, I came out and said who I really was, because I thought I owed that to my audience. And that was 2 years right there. 2 years of just putting out videos, putting out content, even talking to members of the audience on the phone here and there, and helping them with issues. I never charged anything at the time. I was just putting out information, just teaching. But as soon as I had officially retired, I incorporated and told everybody online, this is now my official profession. Please help me start this new business, this new assistance organization, and you've been great with that. Now, there has been a little sticker shock with some folks. There have been some who have argued that I shouldn't charge anything at all, and that's just because we as service members are so used to having everything given to us that it's a surprise when someone says that they want to be paid. But 2 years later, 2.5 years later, this is where we are. And again, I am grateful. I am incredibly grateful for everyone who has helped me get this far already. This has been an incredible journey. In fact, I'm making this video in December now of 2019, and so it's actually more like 3 years, because I started the YouTube videos in January of 2017. So that's really 3 years now when you work it all out. All right, so moving on. Now, like I said, there was some sticker shock with some folks who were told that I am a fee-for-services guy. So I thought it might be a good idea if I showed the return on investment for some of those folks out there who have contracted my services and what they've been able to get out of it. So I'm going to go through a couple of those and just show you what it's like for one or two people who have come to me for help and what the value was for them. I won't give any real identifying information, but the numbers are real. So for the first one here, this is an email that I received. I changed the name, but for this person, I spoke with him on the phone. I charged him my hourly rate, which in 2020 will be $80 per hour. And so the question is, who gets more out of that? He had mentioned that he had been drilling for points only because he was receiving VA compensation. And I mentioned that as an E9, he would receive more money if he took military pay. So what did he do? He went back and had his military pay history changed. You can do that, believe it or not. So he sent me an email. Thanks for the info and direction. The day before I retired, I took your advice and made up 7 drills, October through April. It will pay over $5,000. Then I will have a debt for the days I received my VA pay. I was only 90% those months, or about $1,950 a month. Not a big deal in this case. He'll pay that back at the end of the year. It was through your advice that I can now pay cash for my backyard remodel and gutters. You rock, DJ. Keep helping veterans get the benefits they so deserve. Chief Luke. So right there, for the cost of not even an hour of talking to me, he got over $5,000 in drill pay and had to pay back a couple of days of VA compensation. Small price. And he got a lasting effect of that, not just the money, but he got a backyard remodel and some gutters for his house. So quite nice. And then there was another guy who came to me for applying for combat-related special compensation. This guy was an E6. I charged him about $700, a one-time bill for services, and it resulted in $1,260 a month for this guy. He will continue to receive this monthly non-taxable amount for the rest of his life, and that's all because he came to me one time. So he made back in 1 month the amount I charged him, and he'll receive $15,000 in the first year. That's a pretty good return on that small investment of $700. Not bad at all. Now, there's another thing out there that I want to mention. I have a Patreon campaign that I have mentioned on several videos. I regularly ask people to step forward and support my work on a monthly basis on Patreon. Anyone, not just service members, can do this by going to patreon.com/RCRetirement. And for people who support me for $20 or more per month, I offer a substantial discount on my services. If you support me for that small amount and agree to continue doing so in writing for at least 1 year after the completion of any work that I do for you, I offer a 20% discount on all of the services listed on my webpage. This can save you hundreds or even thousands of dollars for the work that I do for you. You will also receive advance notice of all of the YouTube episodes and radio episodes I produce, as well as other incentives. For example, for $20 per month or more, I will also list you as one of the producers of all of the future videos that are posted on YouTube. Take a look at patreon.com/RCRetirement for a list of those other incentives. And finally, well, not finally, because there's other stuff, but the subscribership for the site is slowly growing. As of the date of this video, the subscribership to this channel is 482. Admittedly, for a YouTube channel, this is a laughably small number. I look at it differently, however. Considering that this channel represents such a niche topic, I think it is encouraging. Now let's look at it another way. The YouTube tracking site socialblade.com says that RC Retirement will probably not reach 1,000 subscribers until sometime around 10 months from now. I would like to prove them wrong. That's why I would like to ask your help and ask that you spread the word about this channel and the website and everything having to do with RC Retirement to everyone you know. Ask them not only to start watching these videos and making use of the resources on the site and on this channel, but also to subscribe. Let's get these numbers up over 1,000 as soon as possible, and let's prove Social Blade wrong. Let's let's have some fun with these people. There are several things I would like to do on YouTube, such as live events, which I can only do once I am above that number. And there are a lot of those things that I want to do. I have to have subscribership above a certain number in order to do so. So help me out, guys. Help me, as they say in the business world, help me help you. All right. Now, this is kind of a serious thing. As I try to look ahead, for RC retirement, I'm looking for future topics. I've talked about a lot of different things. I still have a list of topics I can talk about, but I want to, as always, go into those areas that you want to hear about. So, rather than talking about, retirement point values or things of that nature, I would like to know what's of interest to you. So if you look at previous shows, you will see that there's a lot that are a result of viewer questions. Those are actually the most fun to produce naturally. So if you will keep up with questions, if you'll keep up with recommendations for topics, then I can keep putting out material that is of interest to you and most relevant to what you need, rather than just randomly trying to put out what I think you might need. Now, of course, I might try to put out some of the things on my pre-made list as well, because that's still useful, but I still want to have things that you want to hear, because obviously that is what is the relevant information out there, and we don't want a whole bunch of pre-made, tacky, boring, material out there. We want, and I'm using the royal we here, we want the material that you want out there, because you are the audience. You are what makes this succeed. I'm just one guy, and I succeed because of what you want. The whole thing here rides on what you need. So if I'm not serving your needs, this whole thing falls apart. All right, so that's enough from me about this 100th episode. Thank you again for being with me this far into this journey. I look forward to being here for episode 200 and beyond. As always, thank you for being part of this audience and for spending your time with me. Don't forget to check out Patreon and the services pages to see how I can help you out. I look forward to being part of a service to you in the future. And as always, I thank you for your service. Have a great day.
If you liked what you heard on today's episode, then please go below and give it a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to this channel. Also, please let other people know about this channel and the information it can provide for them. If you have questions or comments, then please have no qualms about posting them in the comments section below. Please remember the RC Retirement YouTube channel and the RC Retirement website are not recognized or endorsed by the Department of Defense, the Department of Veterans Affairs, or any other government agency. The information presented in these resources are for entertainment and informational purposes only. Also, the content of either of these resources should not be considered financial or legal advice. Please consult with your own legal counsel, accountant, or financial planner before making any decisions based on what you have learned here. As always, thank you for watching the RC Retirement YouTube channel.